Now, the hell will ensue regardless. What they have let loose on the earth, there's no turning back. So they will destroy the earth and all people in an effort to destroy us. But keep in mind, brothers and sisters, that's why it's more important than at any time in this earth to come under the hedge of God and keep the commandments. Keep the commandments and love thy neighbor as thy love thyself, which means don't do to anybody, anyone on the earth, things that you know would offend you if the shoe was on the other foot. At least start there. And also, if we have done things wrong in the past, instead of beating ourselves up with guilt and darkness, repent. Just change your ways and the Most High will accept you, because he's the only one that's going to be able to protect and provide. To protect and provide. He's going to be the only one with what's coming through those doors. Okay? We're here to give you insight, help you connect the dots, and above all, understand follow the commandments, repent from all sins, and get under the hedge of the Almighty. That's the only thing that we ask, is that you follow the Most High and do what's right and transfer the virtue and the truth that you've received through these teachings, transfer that into the world and do your part. But again, Esau is the modern day Pharaoh. Okay, that was a great lesson we put together through the Spirit of the Almighty. Esau's grandson, the Edomite in the Bible, Zepho, is buried in Ayanapa. Ayanapa is the party capital of all the island of Cyprus. And that's where the tombs of the gods, they got a tombs of the god in Peah. They got also one over in Ayanapa where what? Esau's grandson, after winning many wars, he's buried there. He became the first pope of Rome. The pope have nothing to do with our people. It's a seat that was set up by Satan through that bloodline. Since we're talking real quick about Zepho, right? In the book of Jasher, the 63rd chapter in Ayanapa, where she said her daughter exhibited racism, right? In the book of Jasher, it talks about, in Jasher 63, it goes into how Esau, who went into Ayanapa, into Kittim, how he was trying to get with the Africans in an alliance to come against us who was in Egypt, and how we began to march in the wilderness. Well, it was Esau's son trying to conspire with Africans to kill us in the wilderness. Zepho, the Edomite, who became the priest over Rome. In the book of Jasher, it breaks this down, right? And one thing I wanted to pull out of this in particular, right? Let me see. Let me start at 11. And Zepho, the son of Eliphaz, the son of Esau, heard their report and went forth to meet with his army, and he fought them there in the road. And Zepho smote the troops of the king of Africa with the edge of the sword, and left none remaining of them. Not even one returned to his master in Africa. So what happens? Zepho goes to this African king and say, I need you to war with me against my cousins, the tribes of Jacob who are in Egypt. The African king went to a sorcerer or a wizard and said, I need you to give me some insight on whether or not we could win this war against Jacob, who've grown strong in Egypt. The spirits spoke to this African dude and said, listen, if you go against Jacob in Egypt, the God of Israel, the God of Abraham, will utterly annihilate you, and your name will not be written in any future history, right? So this African king goes back to Zepho and say, hey, I cannot align myself against Jacob in Egypt. They're too powerful and their God is too powerful, right? So what does Zepho do? Zepho instigate a fight that he can't win. And now the African king aligns himself with an army to come against Zepho. Zepho went to his brother to help. His cousins to help, who were on the other side of things, right? The Greeks and other parts that were there. And they say, no, we're not fighting with you. We can't beat them. So what? Zepho prays to the God of Abraham. He prays to the God of Abraham, folks, and say, listen, I know that you are the God of all gods, and I'm willing to put down my paganism. Come, send your spirit to help me against the African king. Our God, hear the prayer of Esau. And the spirits went along in Esau's army under Zepho to wipe out all of the Africans who was against him. Right? You would never guess what Esau does after winning the war. A war that he could not have won unless he consulted with our God in fervent prayer and sacrifice. No sooner as Esau's grandson Zepho, no sooner as he won that war, he turned his sight against our people again in an attempt to war with us, even coming out of Egypt. He went back to the pagan gods and sought guidance to destroy our women and or children and all of that while in Egypt. Why am I putting this out there, folks? Here are the tactics of Esau. It doesn't matter. As a government, as a power, unified these Edomites who rule the earth. It doesn't matter. They'll use every form of warfare against us to consolidate power, believing that our forefather Jacob stole their birthright. So any way they treat us is justified to them. They'll tell us to bring our children into these places to get stuff up in them and all that. And guess what? They won't have 1 ounce of guilt if we bring back a sick child. Sorcery, witchcraft, weather warfare, all of that is what they're utilized because that's the only thing. Carnal power is what they were gifted with to destroy us. So again, when it comes to Esau, he exercised the carnal power of sorcery. That's what he does. And when our people exercise it, we don't realize, hey, there's a judgment for us. There's a judgment for us. So we cannot follow what Esau does when it comes to the sorcery. Eventually, he'll be taken down next anyway. But if we don't repent while the Most High is bringing judgment, we will be taken down in this sorcery. We'll be taken down through the judgment that comes against this sorcery, folks. Zepho, they'll use weather warfare. The Edomites will use anything they can, including military might, to keep their power over us, knowing that God is now calling back his people. We ought to repent, hedge ourselves, and don't care about how Esau feels. We're not going to him anymore for validation. We're going to pray to our God for protection through this storm that's coming. And we're going to rally under the hedge of God. On top of that, we repent from our past doings and see the power of the Most High work in our lives. All right. With that, this coming Sunday, we'll be going into the 4 beasts of Daniel, leading to the mark of the beast. Brothers and sisters, we're close. With that, see you on the other side. Patreon.com/agathering144. May the Most High be with you. Stay prayed up. Sin not. We will soon see Israel. And yes, starting next week, we will be taking enrollments for the next Hebrew and Bible Academy. We have, in the midst of what's going on in Africa right now, we're going to have something special in the next academy. Elder Lawyer will be reporting live on the ground in Africa. I told y'all many years ago that Africa will be the last battleground in the desolation. And already Trump is about to send troops there. Remember, I told y'all this, okay? Africa is the last battleground. Why? Because they knew it would just only be a matter of time before the children of Judah here in America would go back over to Africa, only to awaken the tribes of Judah, Benjamin, and Levi, who are still there. They knew it. We're not going back to Africa with a chip on our shoulder or an axe to grind, guilting our brothers and sisters who cast us off for dead, guilting them for their hand in our captivity. No, not at all. See, when the tribes of Jacob, the brethren, cast off their own brother Joseph into Egypt in the hands of the Arabs and left Joseph for dead, the knowledge and the experience the Most High gave Joseph all by himself built something in him. To a degree, Joseph became king over all of Egypt. Through that kingship, he was able to save not just his family, but the world. That's right. In preparation for a 7-year famine that the Most High showed Joseph how to get through. And he was cast away, thrown in prison, and denied by his own brothers, only to embrace them at a time they needed saving. Well, that's who Judah is. We're not going back to Africa. We understand the story of Joseph. The Most High did something with us here in America. We had to what? We had to rally together with no one to help but our God. And the God sustained us with understanding of governance and diplomacy and ingenuity. And with that information and understanding that got us through chattel slavery, that what was a beacon of light to the whole earth to understand how to stand against injustices. We understood why the Most High had us come here. So we're not going back to Africa to blame them for what happened. We're going back to Africa to share the gospel and to show them, hey, this is what forgiveness looked like. but you must stand with us through Jacob's trouble. And the enemy knew this time would come. So in the academy, we will have a special part of, we're going to have foot on the ground, camera footage, interactions with our brothers and sisters in this academy, knowing what's about to happen in Africa. And guess what? Elder Lawyer will be there to help us with that.